Alabama shoots a lot of threes, as I'm sure you know. How key do you think defending the three is in this game?
I think it will be huge. Alabama has shown that they have the capability to beat some of the best teams in our country this year, and a large part of that, and oftentimes what leads to their success is how well they shoot the ball from three. They spread the court out. They try to play with some pace and some urgency and get up a lot of threes. So, luckily for us, we've done a pretty good job, I think, this year, especially in the last month and a half of guarding the 3-point line. So that's been a focus for us as we've been preparing for Alabama, and it will continue to be one for us.
Speaking of Alabama being up and down, like you say, they've beaten ranked teams. They've also lost to some of the only two SEC teams that have losing records. So how do you weigh which Alabama team you're going to see?
Well, I expect them to be great on Saturday. They just had a big win, and just to be blunt, we're coming to town, and a lot of times that creates an electric environment, and it's a big game for opponents all the time. So we expect to get the best of them, and we'll be prepared for it.
Thanks.
Daryl Bird, go ahead.
Yeah, Kellan, the other day, Davion became the sixth different player on your team to score 20 or more points. I'm curious, does that kind of relax everybody that they know they don't have to go out and be the man every single night?
Yeah, it does for sure. I've been saying since the season started, in fact, even before the season commenced, that we've got, 6, 7, 8 guys that are capable of having 20-point outings. We've had different scores consistently throughout the season. All 5 starters average double digits, and it just speaks to how versatile we are as a team, and how we have a lot of options. We can have 2 guys in the starting lineup scoring single digits and still have a commanding win. We've proven that already. So it speaks to our offense, the way we share the ball, the pace we play. It gives a lot of people opportunities.
I would think that would create nightmares for an opposing coach trying to do a scouting report on when you've got 6 different options like that, or even more.
Exactly. CJ and I were just talking last night, in fact, and we said it. We would assume it's incredibly hard to scout us, just given what we witnessed the other night with Davion, Keanu Upton for 27 against Kansas, having 20 again. So you probably assume Oscar's a focal point, but we've shown we have the capability with all the guys in the rotation to really have productive nights and put up a lot of points.
Thank you.
Larry Bach, go ahead.
Yeah, Kellan, 2 things for you. First, do you really think Alabama will try to get up and run up and down the floor with you guys after seeing what you did at Kansas when they tried to do that?
We hope they do. We welcome it. We always get excited if the game can be back and forth, because eventually, as Coach Cal always says, someone's got to let go of the rope, and we're so conditioned and so trained to play that fast. We practice with a ton of full court drills where we're constantly working on our speed and playing at that pace, and you can see how we can maintain it. So we would love it if the game's a track meet. We think we have an advantage there.
And the second thing would be, why do you think this team is so beloved by UK fans, or do you sense how beloved you guys are right now by fans?
Well, without having any prior experience here, I can only speak to what I've witnessed, but I would imagine that this has been just from what I've garnered and from being around fans and post game, and they seem to be very ecstatic about our team. I think they like the brand of basketball. I think they appreciate the character of this team. It's so evident that we've got a lot of high character guys, and we have a sole focus, and that's winning. So we certainly feel the excitement from our fan base, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
John Long,
Kellan, it seemed like the Vanderbilt tried to bully you guys. It almost looked like they were trying to get under your skin by making you guys mad. How important is it for the team to kind of keep its cool during this period going down this stretch run?
I think it will be imperative for us to stay poised in situations like that. They clearly wanted to disrupt the flow of the game. I think they had no problem with each team being in the bonus 8 minutes into the second half, because when ticky-tack fouls are called and there's an emphasis on physicality by one team, it can lead to that being reciprocated by the other team, and then it becomes a free throw game and more of a half-court game. So I imagine that was, once they had noticed the direction of the game becoming more physical, I imagine Vanderbilt was okay with that. But we we're a good enough team where we don't have to. We're not only going to win a game if it's a track meet. We've got the versatility and the options on offense. We have the experience and the discipline to stay poised in a situation like that. And I think, although we could have cleaned some things up, we did a pretty good job handling it. We could have rebounded a little bit better and maybe not got baited into a couple fouls, but for the most part, we kept our composure and we're able to handle business.
Yeah, and watching you on the court out there, you always seem so composed, and listening to you during these interview sessions. Do you ever get mad out there on the court, and do you play better or worse when you've got a little fire lit under you?
No, I can definitely get mad. I try not to, if I'm mad, the whole world doesn't need to see it. I try not to be as demonstrative about it. But there's a competitive spirit in me, and like any player, I just try to, I guess, be a little more reserved in showing my emotions. And as an older player and as someone who's tasked to help in a leadership role, I think it's important for me to stay composed and lead by example.
Kent Spencer will come to you next.
Last year, Alabama got Kentucky a couple times pretty good. Do you get a sense from Cal or some of the guys that were on that team a year ago that they would kind of, like to get one back here tomorrow down there?
No, I don't think we're thinking about that. I mean, it hasn't been brought up yet. This is an entirely new team. It's a different kind of, the climate of college basketball has changed. We've got fans back. It's just a completely different situation this year, and it's a new team. So we're focused on playing Alabama tomorrow, and then we're focused on South Carolina the next game. Last year, I think, is moot at this point.
Kyle Tucker.
Yeah, Kellen, similar to kind of what you were talking about with fans, and I know you don't necessarily have the backdrop of last season to compare to, but I wonder if you can sense from Cal his sort of maybe relief or just enjoyment after last season being what it was, especially having a group of guys that are veteran, that are older, that maybe you guys have, more adult level conversations, even more than just basketball. But do you get a sense that just being around a mature group like this has been a little bit of a relief for a guy that's been coaching largely freshmen for the last 12 years?
I think he definitely appreciates it. He reminds us all the time that he's having a ball coaching us, and is incredibly excited every day to walk in the gym and coach his team. Naturally, I think part of that probably has to do with he's got an older group and guys who have played Anywhere from 60 to 120, 150 college games. And there are some things that maybe he doesn't have to explain or he only has to explain once. And I would presume he appreciates that. But overall, I think the overwhelming factor is we're a high character group and we care about each other, and all of us care more about the team success than we do our individual success. And I think that's what he appreciates most.
John Hale?
Kellan, you've played a lot of minutes the last 4 games, I think 37 plus in each of them. Obviously, you had a season at Davidson where you averaged, I think, 38 minutes a game. What goes into being just physically, mentally prepared to play that much in one game?
Well, one, it's up to me. I think the amount of minutes I play shows that the staff trusts me. So it's up to me to stay disciplined in my role and do the things that I'm supposed to do that make it hard for the coaches to take me out of the game. And then also, like you mentioned, just kind of the experience of playing a lot of minutes for 4 years at Davidson. And my body's used to it. The way we practice and the emphasis on playing fast keeps us in good shape. And it allows me to stay out there. And you also got the benefit of media timeouts every 4 minutes, so I can rest then. I don't want to come out of the game, so I have no complaints there.
Nick Gabriel?
Kellan, you specialize in the three-pointer, and obviously it's only one more point, but it also brings an emotional jolt to the crowd, both home and away, and clearly it's an uplifting element for the team. How much are you cognizant of that, and how much do you enjoy that?
It's a lot of fun. I've said all year I've been having a blast playing here and feeding off the energy of our home crowd, and then you also feed off silencing an opposing crowd. And I think I said maybe a month ago or that when we're playing at Rupp, the anticipation that you just feel in the air when I'm shooting a three. I've said I feel more gratitude towards that than the reaction when it actually goes in. So it's a lot of fun. I appreciate it. It's evident that our fans expect me to make shots, and it's a pretty rewarding feeling. So it's a lot of fun.
Gary Graves?
Yeah, following up on that, I guess how much has your shot changed or your approach to shooting changed from last year to this year? I mean, how much smarter do you feel in terms of the shots that you take here?
My release has quickened a little bit, and that was an emphasis when we got here. Not to say that I didn't. I mean, just frankly, I've always had a relatively quick release, but there's always room to improve, and there's a different standard at Kentucky, and it would only help me to try to quicken my release a little bit. So we worked on that right when I got here in the summer, and then the other thing, it's a different style of play, and back in the Carolina game before Christmas, Cal said, if you're not going to shoot, you're coming out, just after I passed up a shot or two in the first half. So there's an added layer of confidence that comes from the coaching staff that makes it easy for a shooter like me to feel good about getting shots up whenever I have the opportunity. And we play a fast-paced offense. We'd rather shoot a makeable shot with 23 on the shot clock, knowing we've got Oscar in the paint, and just overall we've got one of the best rebounding teams in the country. And there's always a chance for putbacks, and aside from the chance itself of the shot going in, and then it gives us more possessions. So it's a great feeling for me. I'm confident to shoot as long as I feel like I have a good look. I'm confident to shoot. So I think a combination of all those factors.
Last two, Kyle Tucker and then Daryl Bird.
Ellen, it feels like as teams have elevated you more and more in the scouting report to try to take away your shooting, respect your shooting, we've seen you maybe have to work a little harder and take more of the higher degree of difficulty shots. And I think those might be you talk about the crowd. I think those might be fan favorites. The sprinting, twisting in the air, square yourself up in midair threes. How much have you had to sort of add that more and more to your game? And what is the secret to perfecting when you're really not on balance, getting yourself squared up in those situations?
Well, there's a combination of factors to answer that question. One, I give a lot of credit both to Davidson and here. At Davidson, we were a motion-filled offense, and we were setting screens constantly. So you had to have an ability to shoot off screens. So I've been practicing shooting off screens for years. And then here at Kentucky, that's another part of our offense, aside from dribble drive and ball screens. And a part of it is setting good screens and getting shot makers open looks. So we practice it every day. I practice it with Jay Lucas and Riley Welsh, and pregame shooting and pre-practice shooting every day. And I'll give a little props to my dad. He's told me since I was a little kid, just square my shoulders. And he used to always reference Steph and Kobe and some of the greats, and how it never mattered the position of their body or how fast they were going or how they were moving. As long as they got their shoulders squared, you give the ball a chance to come in. So when I'm sprinting the baseline and running out, my focus always is just to get my shoulders squared. And if I can get my shoulders squared, I think I have a good chance of making the shot. I mean, there's rhythm to side steps and to shooting off movement. Your body gets under you a little more, at least in my eyes, and there's a rhythm to it sometimes that can give you a little momentum or a little more energy to a shot than sometimes just a catch and shoot shot does. So I hope that answers well enough.
Daryl just said that was the same question you had. So that's all we have for Kellan. We'll have Ty Washington in here in just a moment.
Thanks, guys.